Happy Tuesday, everybody. All right, we're going to start our final project and our final grade for this class, which is your multimodal research project. And so yesterday you should have identified which place you are planning to research, so that way we can move forward into the assignment. So I'm going to go over some different tools for these projects, depending upon if you want to do a video or if you want to do some sort of infographic or image. And then you're not required to, use any one of these tools. I just want to make sure that I'm helpful in giving you some suggestions. If you have other ideas for completing this project, run it by me. I'm happy to discuss any of those things with you as well. Okay, so let me go over the instructions first before we get into the different tools that I've linked. So the instructions are actually in the document, but I wanted to let you know that you have two opportunities to earn extra credit on this assignment. The first is to turn it in early. If you can complete it by Thursday and submit it on Thursday and it's done well, it's not rushed, then you can earn some extra credit on the project as well. And the second opportunity we'll look at here in the instructions, okay? So for this project, you are going to research a place that is important to you, the one that you identified in yesterday's submission. It could be a local neighborhood in San Antonio, a particular park. It could be a city. It could be, if you like a particular church or something like that, that works as well. And then when you're researching, you want to continue to think about a particular aspect of the culture that defines it. So is it the food? Is it the music? Is it the architecture, the landscape, the history of the community, or whatever? Especially if you're picking something that has more of a historical value, there'll be a lot more there for you to research, okay? You will need to have a minimum of 3 different sources that are credible. And credible to me would be, for example, if you're talking about like the missions in San Antonio, then there is a specific website for that. That's a credible source. If you look at newspaper articles that featured events that they had there, that works too. I don't necessarily want you to use Wikipedia as a platform, but there are linked sources on the bottom of the Wikipedia page that would be where those people got that information. That to me would be more credible than just a platform. Wikipedia to me is like a curated database of different types of articles that sometimes are not vetted. And so for your sanity and for mine, look, if you want to start with at Wikipedia, that's cool, but at the bottom it'll say like references. Use those links as your credible information. Even if you want to start with Wikipedia, don't quote Wikipedia, if that makes any sense. Okay, so you're going to create a multimodal text via a video or an infographic of some sort. If you want to do a podcast, that's fine too. But your research question is, what defines the culture of a place? So if you're talking about Walt Disney World, then I would need to figure out what makes Walt Disney World the most magical place on earth, okay? Which I'm happy to do. And there's tons of different pieces that have been published on, that place for my choice. You're going to write a brief reflection explaining why you chose that platform. So, if you wanted to create a video or if you wanted to create an infographic, about 100 to 125 words, which is about half a page in length, and I'll show you an example. You'll also include a works cited, but honestly, it's in this graphic organizer. If you just copy and paste the links that you went to so that I can access those websites, that's what I'm looking for. If you use the stock photos, then you don't have to use the websites for those pictures or like citation information for those pictures. So just be careful with that. On number 5, you can open up the teacher sample, but I do want to talk to you about your second extra credit opportunity, which is the attendance question for today. The second way that you can earn extra credit is to record a brief 1.5 or 3-minute presentation of the project. So very much like you did for the setting analysis project, but it will not be public at all. It'll just be to me. So you'll attach the link to your photo or to your video in an email to me on the same day that you submit your presentation. If you use Screencastify, it is a Chrome extension. That is how I record all my videos. I upload them to YouTube on my own, but if you just use Screencastify via Chrome, they save in your Google Drive and you can share them with me that way. That's a really easy way to do that. Or if you use iMovie, or if you make something and you edit it in YouTube, that's fine too, whatever. As long as I have some sort of video. If you would prefer me to post the platform on Flipgrid, just send me an email and I can do that too, whatever works. Okay, so to recap, those are the two ways you can earn extra credit. Turn it in by Thursday is one, and number two would be to film yourself presenting your multimodal project, and it doesn't have to be your face. Okay, it's the same idea as we just did on last Friday's assignment. Okay, so you have to complete this graphic organizer because this is how I'm going to access your project. You're going to tell me your chosen place. You're going to identify, at least one defining characteristic, whether it's the food, the architecture, whatever. If I were doing Walt Disney World, obviously the castle at Magic Kingdom would be something I would, choose as a defining characteristic, as well as maybe the cast members themselves. I mean, there are plenty of different things I can do for that. And then how does the characteristic help to define your chosen place? So if I'm talking about how Disney World is the most magical place on earth, it's hard to be grumpy when you have smiling faces and, reminiscence of your childhood. And you see happy smiling kids as well throughout. Everybody is more inclined to be positive. Plus you're walking all day, so there's everybody is all full of endorphins and comfort food. So I could talk a little bit about that in terms of the characteristics and defining my chosen place. If you're doing something more historical, then obviously what makes it touristy, right? What makes it memorable? Then whatever you, I know it says create an infographic, but it could also be a video or whatever. Whatever it is, you have to link it in this box, and you need to test it, because if it's not shared publicly and I cannot access it, I can't grade it. And we are running out of time for me to be getting your attention saying, hey, I can't access this. So I would recommend testing it by sending it to a friend and seeing if they can open the link. And if they can't, that means I can't. Or maybe, turn it in early so that way if I can't access it, we get it, situated before the due date. So I just put that here. Again, if I can't access it and it's not shared publicly, I can't grade it, okay? Your reflection can go here. Remember, it's about half a page, 100 to 125 words. And I'll show you that example in just a second. And then your works cited, you're just copying and pasting links. I don't need anything formal. All right, so by clicking on this link for number 5, I want to show you the teacher sample. This one was written, I believe, by Mr. Perez. And so he just wrote his reflection on these 4 different categories. This would be a really great way for you to do yours, should you need some help in writing your reflection. So he talked about the purpose. He talked about the multimodal choice, right? He chose an infographic. This is why I chose an infographic. How they organized it and how they designed it. So their project was on Piktochart, was about puffy tacos, specifically towards like Las Palapas and Henry's Puffy Tacos. And according to Mr. Perez, he says a defining characteristic of San Antonio is the puffy taco. And he gives us the history of the puffy taco. He kind of compares Henry's Puffy Tacos to Las Palapas. Talks about, the different characteristics of the food, the history of the restaurants, how he connects to it. He even talked about a little recipe, and then he linked all his sources here in the Piktochart. So all of his images pretty much came from the Piktochart bank, but he did upload the Las Palapas image and then the Henry's Puffy Taco icons from the stock photos in Google. So this is a really good example. His went food, but he also discussed places in here and the different characteristics of the different restaurants. So that's a way to do it if you would, if you want to talk a little bit more about the food in that place. But like I said, if yours is historical in nature, you can talk about facts from that place. If I was going to do mine on Walt Disney World, I might talk a little bit about how, what are the top 5 reasons people want to keep going to Walt Disney World, stuff like that, okay? So this is due on Friday. I am going to start asking for you to share with me some of the research that you find, just to keep you accountable to making sure that this is done by Friday, all right? If you guys have any questions, please, please, please get on Zoom and ask me in class or send me an email. Your attendance question for today is to identify those 2 different opportunities to earn extra credit. Remember, we said it was to turn it in early and to record a presentation and send it to me. Don't forget that all of your missing assignments are due by Friday, May 21st. I did link the assignments list that has all, I think, 15 of the grades for this last 9 weeks with direct links to the folder, so that way you can view those videos and those samples and check there, okay, first before you go through grade report and trying to do all the things. Don't listen to what Schoology is telling you. Listen to that document, because only those assignments are in the grade book, not everything else that Schoology is telling you that you're missing. Okay? All right. Remember, if you don't want to complete this attendance question, you can always turn in a missing assignment. Submitting anything to Schoology for this course will earn your attendance. Okay, not just the submission for today. So if you're submitting your persuasive essay from forever ago, that will earn you attendance today. Or if you're submitting, any other missing assignment, that will also earn you attendance. All right. All right, guys, tomorrow's early release. Make sure you check the schedule for when your Zoom meeting time is. Remember, 7th period, you're really early in the day. And then 6th period, you're like right around 12:30, I believe. All right, folks, have a great afternoon. We'll see you soon. Take care.